Ladies and gentlemen, as you're familiar, a couple of days ago, I went ahead and I uploaded this video saying that ZZZ is officially the new HSR. And boy, oh boy, the ZZZ player base was not very happy with this one. Because when it comes to critiquing this game, when it comes to saying that features are obviously shilled, that they're going down a design path that's clearly not very good and extremely toxic for a majority of players, well, there's going to be a lot of people defending it. And you can see over here, this thing got dislike bombed into infinity and beyond. And that's not even telling the whole story. You can actually see, over here, lads. Ooh, it's kind of understating the number of dislikes on this bad boy. And so there's a lot of reason for the mass dislikes. There have been a lot of videos put out by other CCs that actually do contain misinformation, which is something that I've been accused of quite a bit in my own comment section. This is the misinformation that's spoke about in the Bible. When this video gets edits out and only to spread they're not even speaking English at this point. I think that they're just putting random shit into Google Translate and then also intentionally messing up the words, because you'd have to try. You'd have to try to make this little sense. Imagine how pathetic you Woo-Wah CCs are just casually spreading misinformation for Kuro Tencent. Yeah, I am not a partnered Wuthering Waves content creator, so that's also just a miss. I'm actually somebody that said in this video, I have concerns about the game because I actually enjoy quite a few parts of ZZZ, and to see obviously shield mechanics like, let's be real here, the Miasma Shield, obviously shield mechanics like this Miasma Shield over here, and characters like Yixuan who just absolutely obliterate it in half the time of other agents, well, it's not that great. And so they're accusing me of misinfo because of a couple of things. First and foremost, we got this video over here by Hako, and he's somebody who just said, how bad are the Miasma Shields, and do we need Yixuan? The narrative that's been spread is that I apparently said, and it's not what I said, that you need Yixuan to be able to clear these bosses. If you don't have her, you won't be able to clear. When literally, in the first frame of my video, I bring up a post that I wholeheartedly agree with, and the only take in here regarding the necessity of Yixuan is that you're going to have clear times that are extended by 20 to 25 seconds if you don't have her. You can see it right here. 20 to 25 seconds if you don't have her, and agents that are element neutral will most likely fall between 150 and 2-minute clears with even optimal play. And this is the thing. We've even had some testing by Nyx, who goes ahead and uploads some of the sweatiest clears that we've seen for the game, where he plays teams like Jane Doe, Vivian, Astra Yao, very premium teams with both their signature W engines and with free-to-play ones, and with the signature ones and maybe a mistake or two, he's getting 1 minute 43 second clears at top tier investment, without any copies on the units. We'll just take a quick look at the gameplay that he features over here, and you can be the judge of whether or not this is going to be something that every single player does. That's a lot of swaps. Yeah, I don't know if everyone's going to do that. I don't, yeah, who knows? Maybe every player is just going to do that. That's a 1 minute 43 second clear. And then when you start putting in the free-to-play W engines, we get to a 2-minute clear. Right? And this is the gameplay that he's featuring in here to get 2 minute 6 second clears. Yeah, I don't think that's average player gameplay. Maybe you can think otherwise, but clearly, if that's average player gameplay, ZZZ has lost a lot of fucking players then, because not everybody is playing like that. That's maybe top 2, 3, 4, 5% at the very most level gameplay. 95% of other players, and that's being generous, are not going to be playing the teams like that. And this is the thing, guys. When you're going ahead and you're using Yixuan, and we'll just review the gameplay from Appel again, where you're using Yixuan and then absolutely just busting out effortlessly. Let's look at the clear time over here. 45-second clears with A-rank agents on your fucking team. Oh, sorry, that's with Astra, yeah. With A-rank agents on your team, and you're busting out like 40, 50-second clears. Let's just see over here. 51. Yeah, it's about 55, 56. Yeah, that's about 55 seconds just with A-rank agents because you pulled the newest unit and their signature. Yeah. And a team with 3 signatures, because it's not Yixuan, is pumping out 143. Isn't that pretty much exactly in line with the initial take that I had in my video, where you're going to be delayed by 20-25 seconds and you'll clear within 150 to 2 minutes with optimal play, depending on, I guess, how many signature W engines you have on your units? Where's the misinfo? Oh, wait, it's just a bunch of freaks who are super toxic positive are going to talk and spread their own misinformation every single time somebody critiques the game. And the worst part about all of this is the additional information that we've seen from a content creator called Hako. We talked about this video before, ladies and gentlemen, right? We talked about how he said, how bad are the miasma shields and do we need Yixuan? Brother man does not give any kind of legitimate comparison. This is the video that people are using to try and discredit my take. Let's just listen to a couple of sound bites over here.
You refuse to, learn how to fight them, then I can see this guy being a problem.
If you refuse to learn, I see this guy being a problem.
You don't save your ultimates and you don't focus on getting the shield down, yeah, then you can be there for a while. And I'm not saying he's a complete cakewalk. If your main and only carry is Anton, you're gonna struggle a little bit.
Okay, so he gives some legitimate takes about Anton being dog shit, right?
During the first stun window,
I want to hear about what he's saying about specific units, because he makes some very pointed statements about clear times.
During the first stun window, you use your ultimate on your main character, like your main carry, but you save your other 2 ultimates. When the boss enters into his miasma state, then we pop the ultimates, we pop the EX special attacks, and the shield will be almost gone. So like the big bad miasma phase that is, being blown out of proportion, it usually lasts maybe 15 to 20 seconds.
So he has the same exact take over here. People are accusing me of spreading misinfo about the miasma situation. The take is that it wastes 20 to 25 seconds. But I guess if you do it in the optimal way, it's 15 to 20. Oh gosh, we basically landed in the same exact number range. Oh gosh, 5 seconds. But 20 seconds is literally still in the range that he's talking about. This is the video that people are saying is me spreading misinfo, when he literally has basically the same exact take.
At most. So it's a bit lengthier than, when Pompeii becomes untargetable and starts burning around in circles. A little bit lengthier than that, but nothing too bad. And now if you go up against enemies...
So another point that he makes, clearly, we've heard that he agrees with the take that I made. Another take he makes is about clear times. And he talks about how, with his M0 Evelyn, he got a 40-second clear, so it can't be that bad. He talks about how, with his Korin team, he got a 1 minute and 30-second clear, so it can't be that bad. He talks about how, with his Nekomata team, he got a 2-minute clear, so it can't be that bad. So he went ahead and uploaded this gameplay footage. And yes, 1,000,000%. His team, with Evelyn, it cleared in 42 seconds. You want to see what's on this Evelyn team? She's M0, yeah. Got her W engine. Let's look at the other units. M2. M2 lighter with his W engine. That is an M2 lighter on the team with his W engine. Wait. M2 Astra Yao with her W engine. And we're using clear times with a $2,000+ team to talk about how it's not that bad. How the miasma doesn't actually have that much of an impact, but we're using a $2,000+ team. Maybe it's 3,000. Are we serious? Are we serious? Let's just look up for a second what these units do. This is what Lighter does. Increases stun duration by 5 more seconds. Reduces ice resistance and fire resistance by 10%. Nice. When applying Collapse, the target's stun damage multiplier, so they just take 25% more damage during a stun. Awesome. The increase to fire damage and ice damage provided by Elation from the additional ability increases to 120% of the original. These are some of the biggest damage buffs you can have in the fucking game. And we're using a clear time. And we're only looked at Lighter. We're using a clear time from here to talk about how they're not that bad. Look at the Calcs tab. I'm pretty sure the Calcs tab only looks at personal damage. Yeah. It only affects his personal damage. And Lighter doesn't do that much damage, right? But it gives massive buffs to his fucking team. Now, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what Astra Yao provides at M2. When Astra Yao's attack hits an enemy, the all attribute resistance of the target is reduced by 6%, stacking up to 3 times to 18%. So we got 18% resistance reduction on top of the 10% from Lighter. So that's about 28% resistance reduction, ladies and gentlemen, from the M1s of the units. 10% over here, 18% over here. Upon entering the battlefield, Yao gains 1,000 decibels, so she gets her ultimate faster. Here's the M2. The attack buff from her core passive is increased by 19 more %, with a maximum of 400 more attack. And we're running this on the Evelyn team. We're buffing her this much. 400 more attack, 18% res, 10% res, and 120% of Lighter's damage bonus. On top of Lighter's W engine. On top of Astra Yao's W engine. And we use this clear to show, guys, the miasma shields aren't a problem. Because I have so much investment on the characters that I can stun the boss once and 100 to 0 him. Look, he has so much investment. He kills the boss during one stun window because the boss is stunned for like 30 minutes because of Lighter. You can literally look at the bar, the days bar. It's actually not going down until it's 1/3 HP because we have Lighter's M1. Hey guys, he still has 50% of his days bar left by the time he's dead. Because we're using a $2,000 team. This is the video that you guys are saying proves mine is misinformation. We're using a $2,000 team that is giga buffed, and just because the Evelyn is M0, this is such a disingenuous chapter. It's so disingenuous, it's crazy. How about we put M0S1, M0R1 Evelyn, M2R1 Lighter, M2R1 fucking Astra Yao? Why don't we show that? Why don't we explain that? Because nobody's gonna fucking have that shit. Then we show an Ellen team doing it, and we've confirmed that Lighter's M2 reduces ice or his M1 reduces ice resistance. And you know what else? This Ellen is over M2 as well. We're just advertising $3,000 teams as the B-roll, showing that these clear times are perfectly fine and not that bad. The teams are literally $2,000 to $3,000. This is what we're saying makes my video misinformation. This is what we're using to try to prove a point. Seriously? This is how far we're going? Guys, there's no way. We're not this cooked, right? Surely we're not this cooked as a community, Zenless Zone Zero, to be going ahead and trying to prove a point this way. Yes, the miasma shield should not be a problem if you're spending $3,000 on your team. I hope it's not. Now, let's see the last part of the discussion over here. Bro's advertising the Corrin team. Guys, look, even Corrin's able to clear. If Corrin can clear the 4-star unit, surely it can't be that bad, right? Look, Corrin's look at her clear time. Look over here. Look how fast she's clearing. It's like in a minute and like 34 seconds. Let's look at the Corrin build. 67.4200. That seems pretty good. Let's look at the investment. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, that's a +3. Oh, we have about 3 wasted substats on the build. We have about 3 wasted substats on the build. I don't think an M6 4-star is that it's a 21 out of 24 in terms of offensive substats. That's 200% crit damage at a base. Wait until you see this, guys. Oh, it's the M2 Astra Yao again. So we got this 18% resistance reduction on the enemy in effect, as well as a 400 increase to attack. And Astra's doing more damage off field for free. So we got that factoring into this 1 minute 32 second clear. And you want to know the best part? Oh boy, I can't wait for this part, guys. That's not all. You gotta wait for the teammate, brother. You gotta wait for the other teammate. Yeah, that's an M1. That's an M1 trigger on the new set that gives 30% critical damage. So we are hyper optimized to fuck with this build. We're using the new set that gives 30% critical damage. We have triggers M1 too. And you want to know what else, guys? We also have her W engine. And so let's read what triggers M1 does. The target's stun damage multipliers increase by 20%. So when they're stunned, we just deal 20% more damage. That's there. Let's look at what triggers W engine does. When the equipper hits an enemy with an aftershock, the target's defense is reduced by 25%. And miasma gives a massive amount of defense to the enemy. And so what we're able to do is actually deal a pretty decent chunk of damage with our Corrin because we have triggers W engine. And hey, I guess that thing is going down real fast. And this is the last point that I want to talk about over here, is people spreading the misinformation that I was saying nobody else can take down miasma bars. What I said was that Yixuan just takes them down obnoxiously fast because she's the newest on-banner unit compared to everybody else. And this is what it looks like, guys. This is what it looks like when one character on your team is handling a miasma bar, as long as you pull the newest unit. Check this out. Boom! Ultimate number 1. Boom! Ultimate number 2. That's the span of Yixuan using 2 attacks. That's her using her 20. That's her using 2 attacks because she gets 2 ultimates, and ultimates deal the most damage to this miasma bar. True, that's correct. You could instead decide to use 3 ultimates on your team, which is what gameplay footage from Nyx over here does. 1 ultimate over here, right? Another ultimate on Jane. Look how much damage she's dealing, by the way. Pretty much fucking none. And then the ultimate on Astra Yao. And that's what we have to do to break it at the same speed as Yixuan. But guess what Yixuan gets to do? She gets to deal damage at the same time. Yeah, she gets to deal damage at the same time while breaking the miasma bar. And you want to know the best thing about this? Her best-in-slot teammate, who's arriving right after her, Ju Fu Fu, that character apparently provides additional decibels, a refund, and then raises the cap of decibels too. So you'll have access to even more ultimates across your teams as long as you're willing to pull the next limited character as well. And this is the mechanic that is the easiest to deal with if you use ultimates. And so we have one character that does 2 of them, and then we have the next character that refunds ultimates and makes them faster to cast. So am I really spreading misinformation? Am I really somebody, just from me saying that ZZZ is the new HSR, that it's a game that giga shills the newest units and makes it an absolute nightmare if you don't pull them, makes you do dumb shit like deal absolutely 0 damage to a shield, makes you feel like you're playing the game wrong, makes you jump through hoops and play the game like shit and make the game feel like shit unless you pull the newest unit? Is that incorrect? And so why is it are we at the point where we're showing gameplay footage of somebody using $2,000, $3,000 teams to further reinforce miasma's not a problem, look at these clear times, when clearly, if anybody is not spending this much money on the fucking game, their clear times are going to be way fucking worse. And you're actually going to have stuff like 2 minutes playing perfectly. Or really, really close to perfectly. Frame perfect swap cancels, every single attack swapped, and we're clearing in 2 minutes. This is insane. Why are we at this point? Why are we doing this? Why has the discussion gotten to this place? Why is it that just because I'm a Wuthering Waves CC and I make content on Wuthering Waves, suddenly I can no longer critique ZZZ when it adds dog shit mechanics to the game that didn't need to be added? They could have just used the depth of combat. They could have made Yixuan have 2 ultimates and made it super unique. They didn't have to make it so that she's probably twice as good against this boss as literally every other character. It's insane. This community has to be the most tribalistic of them all. Immediately disregarding critiques, disregarding the actual problems just because somebody who plays a different game than you said it. It's the same thing with HP inflation. It's the same thing with the W engines being broken. It's the same thing with the new Rupture class and the miasma mechanic. Somebody that plays a different game said it. And so they must be wrong, and it has to be misinformation. They must be wrong, and it has to be misinformation because they play Wuthering Waves. Insane. This community is so cooked. It's so gross. It's so unbelievable that you're going so far as to use $2,000 teams that the average player is not going to be close to having to try to prove some dog shit point. All right, that'll be that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all think. Peace.